And, in my area, we are looking to improve and affect U.S. competitiveness and continuously to put this on the agenda, make sure that we network and we spend time with diversity of different leaders and influential networks around the United States and the world, from academia, research to business to government, and understand and provide market analysis of this whole competitiveness landscape for companies. Having said that, you asked a very interesting question, and very, very important to understand that we do have. We believe, and I believe, that we have gained a years of elected officials. So they're listening to us. We are a nonpartisan coalition of leaders, as I mentioned, from industry, academia, and labor. And our recommendations on behalf of the Council are the basis of many congressional hearings, Sarah. In fact, I will share something. We helped found the U.S. Senate Competitiveness Caucus, where many of our policy ideas have turned into legislation. So our work.
Isn't it hard for them not to listen to you, since you are made up of the top leaders from every area in our country, right? I mean, you really are the leadership of our country coming forward and saying, hey, this is important.
They are listening. And as I mentioned, the reason that we co-founded this U.S. Senate Competitiveness Caucus, that they're looking for our advice and our ideas and our insights to make sure its policies are effective and we have proper legislation. So we definitely have that. But I do want to mention that we also do work, with the White House, and involves advising the president's leading science advisors and working with the two executive branch agencies, NSF and DOE, the Energy Group Department. We run innovation programs for different agencies. What we bring to the table is connectivity to major labs around the country, but also our competitiveness landscape. We bring public and private partnerships. We bring private and public sectors together. So we bring all those pieces together when we run and engage many different agencies within the government, Sarah.
Well, you guys are busy. That's good. Well, where do you see the most urgent needs to keep the United States competitive? I know we touched on a little bit of this, but where else do you see, and maybe we can retouch on that as well?
Yeah, I'm going to touch upon, I'll give you a general overview, where I see how the United States is going to be competitive and what are some of the urgent critical factors. And I'll also touch upon issues that I deeply care, artificial intelligence, and why this is also going to be very critically important to the United States. Artificial intelligence is, right now we're leading in artificial intelligence. It's interesting. We want to lead somewhere, right? You're always on the news. Where are we leading? We are leading in AI. We're leading with AI investments. We're leading with AI startups, AI technology. The United States is leading. But I'll come back to the whole notion of artificial intelligence because it deserves its own attention. I do want to mention the key areas where the Council is involved, and to keep U.S. competitive. Right now, the areas are supercomputers. There's a whole area of hyper convergence and supercomputers. And Intel, as you know, is the only chip maker in the United States. We work very closely with groups that are really focusing on creating and innovating supercomputers in the United States.
And maybe moving towards new technologies like
that's right.
biological
technology.
Yeah,
absolutely. But I wanna say that regarding the supercomputers, we have work to do there as well. So Council is doing a lot of efforts to make sure that we are in front of the race. Right now, we are kind of in a competition with China, and it's one of our fellows has done a research study there and indicating that United States is falling a little bit behind China in the supercomputer race. In fact, you've probably seen the reports that China has surpassed the U.S. in total number of computers in top 100. Which ranks world's high-performance computers by computing power.
Well, we can't underestimate China. I mean, their education, the education is good. They work hard in education, and they're very competitive, and their products on all sorts of levels are good. Their quality is moving up pretty high. And so you can't underestimate them. I've noticed in the business world that a lot of people underestimate China. And I always tell people you can't underestimate China. The Asian cultures are very competitive and they work very hard.
Yeah, Sarah, and just to mention, absolutely, Chinese have achieved the number one ranking in the area of supercomputers right now, and that is a threat. It is a threat to our economic, energy, security, and national security.
And why would you say that's a threat?
Sarah, they achieved something. I'll mention to the audience, the audience which is technical. They achieved something which is called 125 petaflops, which is a peak in the supercomputing processing power. And I think we need to do better. We need to do better in terms of modeling. We need to do better in terms of simulation. And we need to make sure that our government, United States government, puts this on the top of the agenda, because it is very important. It is very important to the energy. It is very important for our manufacturing, our military.
Can you give us a specific example so our audience can relate to it on how China being ahead in supercomputing can directly be a challenge for us?
Well, because, as more they get ahead on improving the speeds, creating the massive amount of power, they'll be able to improve on many military applications. And, this is not the point of the discussion, but I think this also indirectly impacts the nuclear weapons, the control of the nuclear weapons and the nuclear weapon technology. So the alarms should be set off, because right now they're getting to the point where there's some unfair advantages. We have lots of amazing research and really amazing processing power within companies like IBM and Intel. We got to gear it towards the national security and many different applications, as I mentioned, in manufacturing and clean energy. And that would tremendously help us. And I also will say that we have to, we got to get serious, really, Sarah. We got to get serious on the building faster supercomputers, because that will make it a national priority. We got to make sure we get funding from National Strategic Computing Initiative, and that's a very important. We got to keep innovating in our national labs. We got to get help from the whole umbrella of public-private partnerships to help the industry.
And we can't just focus on one part of the country, right? I mean, Silicon Valley I just did a lecture yesterday in my class about how, so much money comes into Silicon Valley, but there are so many other places around our country where there are smart, capable people where investments need to go.
Yeah, I do believe that many areas of the United States need those types of investments. And we spoke about this, I think, a while ago, Sarah, where I personally believe that we need to put a plan together to scale and reproduce Silicon Valley across different regions of America. We got to share the thinking of Silicon Valley, especially.
That's what makes them so great, is they have a culture and an environment where people can thrive. So we need to create that incubator environment elsewhere.
And especially they've been so good in creating knowledge entrepreneurs, not workers, but knowledge entrepreneurs that are willing to take those risks and are willing to create, bigger, new ideas. They're willing to create, autonomous vehicles. They're willing to create new technology in healthcare, in fintech. And we got to be able to do the same thing in many different parts of the United States, broadening this network and focusing on new human capital, creating many innovative business parks, not run in a traditional way, but in the way of 21st century, where we got to engage the leading entrepreneurs. We got to engage venture capital. We got to engage the creators. So we could create good paying jobs, and we could create new initiatives within this country. And Sarah, I want to mention also, not only I did touch upon the supercomputers, but other areas need to really have a focus right now for U.S. competitiveness. Also, not an area of my major focus, but I will share with you in general that we do have to be we have to be better in cybersecurity, and, and Council is working on some of those.
Oh, we're a mess. That's a mess. I can tell you for a fact.
Now. It is a mess.
But, looking at blockchain and looking at some ways to actually improve that as well, those can be some huge advantages for us. And really tapping into some of these brilliant minds across the country, because, I was just listening to Julian Assange talk on the radio yesterday. He did a major interview, and he was saying that it is easy to tap into the Pentagon. And I think that is something that we need to fix.
Well, I have my personal opinion. As I think, if we really learn a lot about Apple and how they make their products, their iPhones, their iPads, they're very secure, and they have unique security where you don't have easy access to APIs. You have really advanced encryption, and I think we gotta work with Apple, and Apple should work with the United States government to make sure that our infrastructure, our technology, our grids, and all of our ecosystem, our companies, our personal data, our corporate data, everything is secure based on those types of standards.
Absolutely.
I do think that they have really top standards in security.
Absolutely. Yeah, you look at somebody who's really good at what they do, and let's get the best at what they do in there to help us do it right.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then, Sarah, I want to mention briefly our manufacturing. There's a lot of discussion now in political circles, in politics, regarding our manufacturing. I don't know if you followed the Deloitte report that was released recently, 2016 Global Manufacturing Competitiveness Index. What it shows that right now we have fallen behind in manufacturing, but we definitely see huge potential right now.
Well, that's not it hasn't been our focus, right? We have been using other countries to do our manufacturing for us in general. We have what I just read, that we had 50,000 manufacturing companies shut down over the last, decade or so. And it just hasn't been our focus. But if we turn around and we start using, and you're going to talk about this, AI and automated processes, and get smarter at how we do manufacturing, we could bring that back and have it be of quality, efficient, and less expensive.
Yeah, we absolutely, Sarah. We have to get our manufacturing back. And in fact, this Deloitte report indicates, when the report was done, it covered extensively from how the corporations are feeling, but also it took amount of some other research. And right now, today, the information today, China is leading. We are second.
Of course, everybody outsources to China, so of course they are.
Yeah, they're leading. But in 2020, which is not far away, it's only 4 years from now, projected. United States, if we do things right, if we focus on advanced manufacturing technology, if we focus on advanced materials, and if we really are laser focused on helping high growth industries in pharmaceuticals, plastics, machinery, computers, transportation, aerospace, and not necessarily, the older industries like textiles and furniture, and we really get this advanced manufacturing economy moving, Deloitte indicates, and I really agree with this, I think we will become a leader. We will become a leader in advanced manufacturing, and this will change the economics, and this will change the GNP, and this actually advances us to fourth industrial revolution.
And it also will create a lot more jobs.
Oh yeah, lots of jobs are going to be created, but also, the jobs that are going to be creating, people who are going to be working on those jobs, they're going to be manufacturing, and they're going to be developing components which are going to be lighter. They're going to be building things which are going to be, much more conducive to the environment, to impacting climate change issues. They are going to be, we're going to be able to create faster airplanes. We're going to be able to do a lot more driving. Clean energy. And so a lot of interesting things are going to happen. And I believe manufacturing is also a major key. We need to really focus and create momentum on U.S. manufacturing. We've got to retool itself, and we got to put a little bit more effort on R&D in manufacturing.